Welcome, everybody, as we get ready to celebrate our 218 years of Emancipation Park. We want to dedicate this out to the late but the never forgotten, our man, Mr. Al Edwards, who helped orchestrated Juneteenth. And this is the third year of the brand new Emancipation Park. And we're trying to make sure we can get a statue to represent Rev.Jack Yates. You know, we got all these statues of Mickey Leland, Barbara Jordan, but the bottom line, they do not want to have nothing to do with slavery. And since Rev.Jack Yates was an ex-slave, the new generation feel like they don't need to honor Rev.Jack Yates, because they haven't done nothing for Rev.Jack Yates since they built that school at 2610 Elgin and named it after him in 1926. They haven't done anything to represent Rev.Jack Yates. So we're trying to make sure that we can get a statue out there for Rev.Jack Yates. Not no picture, not none of this stuff that they can take away, because the bottom line, they do not want the city of Houston in the future. They don't want them to know that that was once property owned by slaves. I'm live with Mr. Jerry Shepherd. Jerry, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, folks.
Okay, Jerry, we're looking at the Emancipation Park, man, and we've been trying a long time trying to put a statue out there. Kind of give us an update on how far, because we've been trying to do this for the last 3 years, even before they remodeled this place. So kind of give us an idea of where we standing, Jerry, and how much have we went and how far we came so far.
Okay, Boo, thanks for having me. We are in a holding spot right now. As you stated, 3 years ago, we started out trying to put a statue in Emancipation Park, and I contacted the City of Houston Park and Recreation Department to see what the procedure was to put a statue in the park, in Emancipation Park. So they sent me some criteria, and me and a couple of my friends got together and we did the aerial shot. We told the city where we wanted to put the Reverend Henry John Jack Yates statue there in the park, there on Elgin, facing Elgin and Emancipation Avenue, facing Elgin, right at that corner where Emancipation Avenue is. We sent them everything they said, and they said, "Well, do you want 6 months?" And we said, "No, we're looking for, permanent." And they needed to know what the statue would be made of, and we filled out all of that, sent it in, and then all of a sudden, I get a call from a friend, a neighbor, someone I went to school with, and wanted to talk to me about my idea of putting a statue in the park. So I met with this individual, and we talked and took notes and everything. And to cut a long story short, then I wound up over meeting with individuals, leaders there at Emancipation Park. It's all owned by the city now. And so I met with them and told them why I felt we needed a statue in the park. And then we went back and forth, and then I came home and did a little research and found out that Emancipation Park, the people working there couldn't make a decision on about a statue being placed in the park. So I emailed them, and I emailed the city and asked them, why are you sending me over to talk with people at Emancipation Park, the director of there, and you all make that decision. And I didn't get a reply back from the email, so they had set up another meeting at Emancipation Park, and so I went to the second meeting, and I as I walked in the door, there was two people from the city of Houston, Parks and Recreation. And I was so shocked because, and then there was the other two people, the executive director there, and this lady that I went to school with.
Okay, what's the lady name, Jerry?
Which one?
The lady you went to Jack Yates with.
Alvia Waterlaw.
Okay.
And I was so shocked when I walked in the room because they didn't tell me the people were going to be there from the city. And so I took out my camera. I said, "Oh my, let me take a picture of this." And the two individuals from the city stood up and walked away from the table and said, "No, we don't want our pictures taken. We don't want our pictures taken." And so I said, "Well, okay, I won't take a picture." And so we sat back down and we met, and they brought up information with them and were trying to show me some of the history of the park, and I had to let them know that I knew about the history of the park and the founders and all of this. And then they went on to tell me, Alvia said that they were going to put in a bid to see if they could get someone to draw some busts of the individuals to go around for each one on each corner. And that was the plan that they had early on before they started renovating Herman Park. But anyway... You
mean Emancipation Park, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thanks, boo. Emancipation Park. Thank you very much. But anyway, I went on and I tried to get in touch with Sheila Jackson Lee. I talked to her husband. I tried to get in touch with the mayor several times. I emailed the director of Houston Parks and Recreation several times. I talked with our District D councilman. He was on the board there at the Emancipation Park, and he was all for it at the time. And but his hands were kind of tied in a way. And I just sort of got so disgusted that.
So what is the Emancipation Conservative? What do they supposed to be doing?
Actually, what they're doing is coordinating activity in the parks of the city. They're contracted by the city of Houston, and they're pretty much in over what activities go on over there.
So in other words, they're not calling no shots about what can go on and what can't go on in that park.
Right, but the city, when I talked with this lady, I have her name, I don't have it in front of me. They tried to throw me off and talk over to the people over in the park, and then when I got over there with Alvia and this other lady, the director, they were acting, they wasn't making it any better, trying to have me think that they could call the shot. When the two people showed up from the city, and I have their names here too, and so they just came right out and say, "Well, we don't want a statue of Reverend Jackson Reverend Yates in the park." And then that's when they were trying to tell me about the bus and all of this. And so I didn't give up. I went to one of the clubs I had joined, and we started a petition. And we put it online, and we got 1,000 and something signatures or what have you. And supposedly it was taken down to the city of Houston, and the council people, they liked the idea. Now,
that's what they said, John. They didn't tell you directly they liked the idea. You hearing that they liked the idea from another source.
That's correct, boo. And I haven't seen or heard anything about that since. And so I was unable to get in touch with the mayor, and just what really perplexed me is, I talked with Sheila Jackson Lee's husband, Edwin Lee, several times, and he never got back. I sent him all kind of information. Now, you think he could talk with his wife, or maybe he did, and they didn't want anything to do with it.
Well, Jerry, I don't mean to cut you off, but between me and you, Jerry, the bottom line, they don't want to have anything to do with anything that consists of slaves. And they do not want to put anything out there in the park to let the city of Houston in the future know that this was once a black park. With all the white residents and the high income people who living in that area, they do not want to have anything to do with trying to recognize that park as being something of once owned by land, was owned by black slaves. Jerry, I mean, that's just the bottom line, Jerry, because the way we're looking at it, Mickey Leland, Barbara Jordan, all these people are more important than Rev.Jack Yates. That's what they're trying to put into our head in the future. What do you look at, Jerry?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to anyone, because the park was bought and paid for back before any black high schools in the Houston area even existed. So the park was for all of the black people, all African Americans in and around Houston, to come and picnic and stand around for work, etc., and celebrate Juneteenth as we call it. And it's just sad that the city of Houston thought enough of Reverend Jack Yates that they named the school after him. And
well, Jerry, the one thing about that, when they named that school after Reverend Jack Yates in 1926, and when I say they, that means the city of Houston and the Houston School District. When they named that school, Jerry, slavery was really something that they accepted during them days. But now here it is, almost 100 years later, 90 years later, Jerry, they do not want to recognize anything to do with slavery, Jerry. The bottom line, they don't want blacks nor whites to realize slavery even existed, Jerry. I mean, this is because if you look at it, what have they done?
Well, not only that, Boo, not only do they hesitate to say anything that existed during slavery, they don't even want the separate but equal period when it was booming in 3rd Ward and 5th Ward, Sunnyside, and how that's been destroyed. The separate equal period was better in a lot of instances than what we're into right now. So that not only, and if you look around, like we said, they've gotten rid of our YMCA that we grew up attending, and just so many other things. The Yates, the school we went to, anything that was on that period, they want to wipe that out. But back to the statue in the park, that they gave. The city gave a local group down there made a bid to get an artist to make mosaics pictures of the 4 founders. Okay, that's up and ready, as you well know. But the thing of it is, I always say, well, that's fine and dandy, but we want to celebrate the leader. Just like Martin Luther King was the leader during his period, Reverend Yates was the leader of the group.
All right, Jerry, I really appreciate it, Jerry. Okay, thank you so much.